The tyre pressure for your caravan is just as important as the tyre pressure for your car, so it's always best to check them both before you head off. But how do we know what is the optimum pressure for the tyres on your caravan? The caravan's owner's manual will generally tell you what the optimum pressure for your tyres is. However, this is based on the original tyre size and the caravan being loaded to its maximum weight or ATM. But the load in your caravan can change, and so can the tyre size, especially if you've bought a second-hand caravan. The tyre sizes may have been adjusted by a previous owner. The tyre itself will tell you what the maximum inflation pressure is, but that's not necessarily the optimum pressure for your weight and the conditions you're going to drive in. In this video, I'm going to take you through how to calculate the optimum pressure for the tyres on your caravan. But why is this important? Well, firstly, if your tyre is underinflated, it can cause it to flex, and that flex will build up heat, and heat can lead to a blowout. If the tyre is overinflated, it will reduce the surface area on the road surface, and it can also cause the tyres to bounce excessively if on a rough terrain. Conversely, a correctly inflated tyre will enhance your fuel economy and give you an even tyre wear, extending the life of your tyres. We recommend changing your tyres every 7 to 10 years or earlier if needed, depending on the wear. As mentioned, the owner's manual should give us the optimum pressure for the tyres. The tyre will also tell us what the maximum pressure it can be inflated to. However, this is not necessarily the right pressure for you, but I can show you how to work out the optimum pressure using the details on the side of the tyre. Let's look at this tyre's sidewall. The 245 relates to the width of the tyre in millimetres. The 70 is the profile, or the height of the tyre. In this case, it's 70% of the tyre's width. R16 is the width of the rim, and the 111 is the load rating of the tyre. This can be cross-referenced to a tyre load rating table that can be downloaded from the internet or obtained from your tyre dealer. It may also be on the side of the tyre. For this example, the load rating is 111. If you look at the load rating table, it shows that the maximum load is 1,090 kilograms for this tyre. The letter T is the speed rating. This needs to be cross-referenced to a speed rating table that can also be downloaded from the internet or obtained from the tyre dealer. For this example, the speed rating is T. If we look at the speed rating table, you will see that the maximum speed rating for this tyre is 190 kilometres per hour. The tyre will also have the maximum allowed tyre pressure on the side of it. For this tyre, the maximum inflation pressure is 340 kPa or 50 psi. Now that we have all this information about the tyre, we need to know how much the caravan weighs, or the aggregate trailer mass. The ATM is the maximum amount that the caravan can weigh when it's not attached to the vehicle. However, the ATM may be more than what your caravan actually weighs, so you will need to get it weighed to find out what the actual weight is and use that to calculate your optimum tyre pressure. To calculate your optimum tyre pressure, you need to divide the maximum tyre pressure by the load rating. You then multiply this number by the actual ATM of the caravan. This is then divided by the number of tyres on the caravan. In this instance, these tyres have a maximum pressure of 50 psi. Their load rating is 1,090 kilograms. Dividing these out equates to 0.0458. We now multiply this by the actual ATM of the caravan, which we weighed, and it is 2,815 kilograms. Divide this by the number of tyres, which is 4, and it equates to 32 psi, being the optimum pressure. Now you may think that this pressure is quite low, but given that there are 4 tyres carrying the weight, this is actually quite reasonable for the circumstances. If you use the Caravan's ATM and your Caravan actually weighs less than that amount, when you calculate your optimum pressure, your tyres will be too hard. If you're going to be driving the Caravan off-road or on different terrain, there are a number of things that influence the tyre pressure. Here are a few things to consider. Firstly, what is the weight of the Caravan? If the Caravan is heavy, it will cause the tyres to flex more if they've been deflated. That flexing builds up heat and can lead to a blowout. The second point is the terrain. If you're going to be driving on soft sand, you will need to reduce the tyre pressure more to get a bigger footprint. Next, speed. If you're going to be reducing your tyre pressure, you need to reduce your speed. Lastly, smooth steering and smooth braking. Erratic movements from either can cause the tyre to become unseated from the rim and to cause a blowout. Now, how often should we check our tyre pressure? Simply, regularly. Checking before every trip and then at least once a month when the Caravan is in use. Remember to check the tyre pressure when the tyres are cold. If you've been driving, the tyres will heat up and that can raise the pressure by up to 4 psi. There are a couple of tools that you will need to help maintain your Caravan's tyre pressure. Firstly, you're going to need a good quality tyre pressure gauge. This will give you an indication of what the pressures are whenever you need to check them. Secondly, a tyre inflator or pump. This will allow you to re-inflate your tyres should you need to reduce the pressure for different terrain. If you're intending to drive off-road or on different terrain, we strongly recommend to get some tyre pressure monitors for your Caravan. The monitor will give you an indication of the temperature and pressure of each tyre, and some of them can actually be set with alarms to activate if you go outside the safe parameters. This video is intended as a guide. If you need further information, contact your Caravan manufacturer or a tyre expert. You can learn all about this and more in the RAC Caravan safety sessions, the details of which are in the description below. Safe travels.